Today is Sunday, May 14th, 2023. Things are getting better. People are realizing how stupid they fell for this drug scam from my ex-husband and those drug traders from all the area. Several things have happened over the last few days. I went in Saturday night yesterday into Fazoli's. There was an apostolic couple and they were talking about it. No one will say a word to her. It was ridiculous what he did to her just to go out with someone else. Okay. Today is April 14, 2023. I went to Trinity Gospel. My client had went to the restroom and I was waiting outside for him. And there's 4 guys out there. And they're talking as they're leaving. They said no one was supposed to say a word to her about what was going on. And we found out it was her ex-husband doing it to her before. Okay. I go to Walmart 62 and these women walk by me and they're like, no one will say a word, trust me. We found out it was that idiot doing it to you or to her. And then some little brat said, should I say something to her? And Mom said, no, we found out it was just her ex-husband. Okay? The Fourth Amendment, the right of people. You have the right to feel safe and secure in your own places and in your own person. Okay? There will be no searches, no seizures without warranted. It has to have a warrant with a probable cause of what to be searched and seized and why, with an oath and affirmation. They have to tell you why they're there, what they're looking for, and give you Miranda rights, or it's thrown out. And they have to have a court order. That's just a search or place. To actually watch you in your home, it's police and agencies only in the home under a threat of life with statements of the knowledge of the threat of life. They're there to protect. Okay, and protect only. Otherwise, it's entrapment. See where my ex-husband said my girlfriend's rich and powerful and her family owns the police. You won't be able to withstand. I told him it's not a communist country. Nobody owns the police. So I called the FBI on him. Took a day and prayed. It was the hardest emotional decision of picking up that phone. I had forgave him for years. For every time he was in a bad mood, he beat on me. And then he'd be sorry for a year and a half, and he beat on me again. That's not love, that's control. Now, I wrote a thing on Facebook. What would you do if you were offered the help of a drug traders and dealers to kill and destroy? If they came up and they offered it to you, or you hired one, what would you do? Would you even hire one? It'd be like hiring a mafia member. Would you take it? Would you go with it, that you could become part of them? Or would you walk away as fast as you could? Because it's evil to kill and destroy. That's what Satan does. But I ask, what would you do if you were offered the help to become one of drug dealers that would help kill and destroy? Would you take it? You know, someone that you're married to, and you swore before God when you married him that you love and protect him. Would you get drug dealers to break in and stalk them, drug them, beat, rape them, leave them beat, bruised, marked, infected private area where they've been raped, sell videos of you and her in bed? Would you do that to her the woman that you're married to, and her just wake up with bruises and infected and not know what's wrong with her, sick, dizzy, headache, heart racing, short of breath, throwing up, seen by the doctor, nobody knows what's wrong with her, but date raped, drugged, and raped. It fits. But because I didn't work out of the house, where it didn't make sense. Would you do that to the woman you swore to God you'd protect? Hmm? You know what, the darkest times in your life brings out your real character, who you are. Every morning, I would get up and I would pray, God bless and protect me always. Keep me safe. If I don't make it home, keep my children safe always. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. Lord, bless and protect me and keep me safe always. And if I don't make it home, bless and protect my children always. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. Was my morning prayer. Humbly before the Lord, and I love God, and I leave, not knowing if I'd make it home. Could you do that to the person you're living with, making love to, married to, been with for 30 years, had the opportunity to have drug dealers come in and violate her on every level, sell videos of you and her on porn sites, publicly humiliate her, when all she did was love you? Would you do that to that woman? The question is, what would you do if you had the help of drug dealers to kill and destroy? Would you take it? Or in the darkest moments of life, bring out the true character of praying for yourself and your family? Basically. And when my ex-husband threatened my granddaughter, my daughter-in-law's life, and then threatened to kill everything that I loved in life, I let them go after me to save their life. And where that crooked, evil, retired judge hacked into the protected custody case set up by the FBI and sold it. Good people that buy it, they walk around me. She almost died to save everyone, and they don't know it. People should tell them and tell them what Dave's really like. And then they don't remind me. God's still there. He'll still answer. Keep praying. He's still there. God has sent so many good people to me in the darkest moments of my life that He's still there. Even when you can't feel Him, you can't hardly breathe from the pain and the horror. He's still there. There was a lot of that on my Facebook post. I almost died to save my family. And where people run around for my husband at the time found somebody messed up in the drug cartel, offered to pay him to help destroy me. Why would he do that besides Satan possessing his soul? Why would you destroy something that you're married to? You just don't want him, you divorce him. You split and you go your separate ways. But I was something to kill and destroy. Because Satan took over his mind and became evil. Where he was always evil, he went on to a level of basically serial killer. Was probably always inside of him, but he buried it. You cannot hire some guy named Pete on his own to come in and stalk your wife. It's not admissible. the Fourth Amendment over the house to be safe and secure in your own person, in your place. It's not a court-ordered recording with button cameras in your home because it's not controlled by the police and agents, and they can only violate your privacy by a threat of life with statements. That's why the FBI sits out in their vans outside the mafia, because they can't go in. Once you see, this is one of Dave's major big mistakes. Having somebody kick in my door, lie that there's a realtor passing out keys, don't report it. He didn't want the police to find their dirty cameras. And smoke detectors, shower heads. Do you realize how mentally sick he is to do this to me and his family? And to let them record us in bed, and then to make it public knowledge. Who would do that to a human being, let alone the person you swore to God you protect with your own life? Not many people. Photoshopping a shower scene in the other room is juvenile and mean girl thing. But having someone come in and review my Diet Coke and coffee creamer, or stab me with an amnesia drug in my sleep, and I wake up with marks I can't explain, dizzy, throwing up, short of breath, heart racing, almost passing out. And then a personal infection that won't go away because I'm being raped. And he's still touching me. He's still touching me, so I won't realize it's him. Him thinking he's some kind of mafia guy. Because these are his drug bitches, and their father's doing this to me. They think it's funny killing people. They are into it with a big drug cartel, and where they got their drug dealers, they had them come down and run a big scam. And you know what happened to a lot of them? They're in jail because they had them come down and run this big scam. And if that agent would have bothered to watch one house tape, he could have got over 200 the first month. In and around. You know, like that one guy I went out to eat with. The police 2 hours away were using that agent opened. They were going to get these guys in this big human trafficking scam. And then he starts telling me about stuff that I hadn't told him about. Already know. And stuff I didn't know. And let me know that they were going to take care of it. And 3 weeks later, they did an 800 people sweep. I put all kinds of where they've been getting human traffickers out of this area, drug traders. And my ex-husband, they have him dead to rights working with them. You know, where they said Dave made a mistake in a big one. He met outside a legally bugged house by Christmas of 18. And that they had killed too. He was part of an assassination where they broke in the next door neighbor's house. Good thing the old lady was in the hospital and the men on the other side of the duplex didn't come back. And then within a few weeks, they gutted that side of the apartment and burned everything in the middle of the night. They literally broke in the wrong house. And how he met upside a legally bugged house by Christmas 18, how they did that. They were out there in the tent to murder me. How big of a mistake he made meeting upside the house. Well, he made a big mistake. A very, very big mistake. Having some guy named Pete on his own stalk me. Make it public knowledge that he photoshopped shower scenes. More than 10 people told. And drugged and told to say stuff. See, I tried to tell that agent on the phone that somebody was up at that church telling on me. Called me a liar. Why would you call me a liar? Then I want the church's number. I want to find out who's up there and how they find out. Well, let's see. I wonder if it wasn't that agent. Was that some guy named Pete, retired Judge Pete on his own, basically. And they went up there and ran a scam at Pamers. Even where that judge made millions selling the protected custody case, he sold FBI information. These people are not in trouble for having it, but they're in trouble for selling it. They sold FBI information, police information of a protected custody case that agent opened up. Like I said, I tried to even tell him about the guy at Giant Eagle at Huntington Bank and threatened to knife me, and I got away from it. Was there a camera above the bench? I don't know. I wouldn't have that answer. You don't know if there's a camera above the bench, you better say you're lying, I'll put you in jail. There's badgering laws. Badgering laws made me plead for my life, then list me informant for life, $5,000 a month. And even when I tell them, threaten me if I told someone, I already told them Dave and the churches knew. Dear God, Dave even admitted he was the one having me stalked. You can't hire a stalker to stalk your wife in your home and tape her unaware. You can't sell videos of you and her in bed on porn sites. That's sex trafficking videos. Taking bathroom shower scenes and putting it in the other room is asinine and mean girl thing to do. But everybody used the bathroom. My children, my grandchildren. He obtained and dispensed kiddie porn. He also, with him letting them break in and drug me, he was allowing them to kidnap me, beat me, rape me. He was human trafficking me. He's not my pimp. Do you realize on what kind of Satan-possessed evil level he is? And he was making love to me all the time. And these people make fun of me. And there's nothing they have as admissible. There's no more court-ordered warrant or court order to watch me unaware in a protected custody case. It's entrapment. They can never even look at listen to stalking tapes that they already admitted they were so-called sodium pentothal on me. And it was date rape drugs, just like they did poor Eric. November 1822, Walmart 62, 2 to 6 p.m. They had left Eric and Steve's name all over this, that they were stalkers, like they were hired from the church. And they didn't know who they were, and they're leaving their names, that they were harassing me and calling places. And it was Dave and Pete on his own. And then they got Eric High on the November 18th, 22, Walmart 62, 2 to 6 p.m. by the hair salon, screams out a full confession. Then ID'd November 24th, 22 at Mercy Medical. And they talk about the agent that bullied me into saying I was lying when I wasn't. See, because of his rudeness, people died. And his arrogance. And he broke badgering laws, Department of Justice 1729. You have to take a victim or a witness or informant statement if you believe them or not and follow through. Or it's obstruction, justice, tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses. He cost people their lives. And almost mine. I was supposed to be in protected custody, and I'm getting people are breaking in, stabbing me with needles in my sleep. I'd wake up with marks. People lying they had sodium pentothal reports. I'm losing 5 to 7 pounds a week. I can hardly keep saliva down. And let's see, what else? I got bashed in the back of the head on 12/21/18, beat, raped, and left for dead. Retired Judge Pete's son, Alex, took credit for it later. Left a white comb on Dave's dresser on 12/21/18 in protected custody. Almost got shot in the head driving within the first 45 days, beat with internal injuries from Dave. There's a shooting night by Christmas 18, and they break into the duplex. Dave meets outside the house, and it catches how they killed 2 people. I am human trafficked between May and June of 19. Men would break in, and I'd wake up and men would be raping me. And I go to beat them off in the room and go black. And I was barely eating at that time, and I couldn't afford to miss work. And I would try to have to get cleaned up in the morning, dizzy, groggy, sick, and have to go to work and been raped. And I could hardly concentrate. It was horrible. And those men had showed that somebody was taking money for them to break in my apartment and rape me. I was raped and tortured in protective custody July to September 19 between midnight and 3 in the morning. All this is documented in a protective custody case. And the undercover police that worked the case interviewed my whole family. They spoke highly of me. In 18, you can't insult me around those men. I almost died to save my family. Nobody's ever seen anything, and I've never heard anyone. And when it came down, when Dave said, realize I'll kill everything you have in life. All you ever loved in life, realize I'll kill it. I let him go after me, trying to keep my family out. So undercover, they just had a nice, weird, probably conversation about families. My family spoke very highly of me. And then one set of grandkids were friends with that drug whore, Michelle. And they had to make up mean games of pretend. And where Dave complained, I had men around me. I had men and women around me. They were around everybody. They caught Melissa, my ex-daughter-in-law, telling the kids to lie. And then on Thanksgiving of 18, that they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needed to get out. And then later on to Flora, they were making everything up. They're documenting me games of pretend. And like Flora said, of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend laughing. That's sick shit. They shouldn't even have known of being small. But that stupid girls at Michelle Lauren, the heavyset blonde girl with a big chest, and that pretty dark haired girl, he had 4 drug whores that them and their families will kill, beat, destroy, and rape, just trying to get a house and jewelry, and none of them got it. He just used all of them in the drug cartel. And where they had their drug dealers from out of states come in, most of them are in jail for this. Because police and marshals out of this area picked up that case that agent opened. And it's still running. He never came, got me out of here. He never moved me. He never gave me my money. He just let it run. For it's even when you tell. And like my friend that worked at a prosecutor's office, the FBI can never drop you. Once the government puts you in a protected custody, they can never let you go. Because they'll just hire someone, they could hire someone else to kill you. That or they try to frame you and try to get even with you like they're doing now. They have nothing admissible. They can't look at. The main cop that went to Dave in June of 19 was on the phone with someone in the back of Liberty House here in front of the North Canton Jackson Police, laughing. Well, you made up a case to watch her before. Made up is fake. Fake is fraud. You did what to her before? That's funny. She must really like him. Okay. He also told the North Canton Jackson Police the worst thing I ever did wrong, honey, was bend over properly. Because they found this old man came up that for every idle word you're telling us, I'll turn on you. I'm like, who are you? I'm in Walmart, 62 by Wood Forest. And he's like, you know that bruise on your leg? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I use sodium pentothal on you. And I don't know this man. He's like, you know what you told me? And he's like, you bent over probably this once and you wore this one nightgown. I accidentally seen your butt and I listed child molester for that. You had a life of pain because of it. Try to leave Dave. I got away from that freak. I'd been throwing up that morning, and I went up back to the legally bugged house. I said, hey, Dave, I always wore the grandma nightgown down to my knees, underwear, and a housecoat when the grandkids were over. I know that. I said that or leggings, sweater, and a housecoat when the grandkids were over. I know that. I said, besides a grandma nightgown down to my knees and some laces that I kept for you, I said, I just replaced everything last year. I said, years ago, they made fun of the back of my knees once when we were video chatting of, oh, Grandma, what's on the back of your legs? Varicose veins, here, old Papa, will get changed. He said, I remember that. See what I mean? They were having me say crazy stuff under drugs, just like they framed Eric. You're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. And them trying to frame me inside my house was the biggest mistake yet. Nothing they have is admissible, but he can go to jail. That's where one of my client on Turquoise Street, one of those idiots showed up out there. I went up to Dave and said, "You're telling people you hired someone to tape her unaware before? You'll go to jail for that. Are you crazy?" Yeah, he will. Hiring a stalker. Is stalking videos admissible? No. Absolutely not. And like Officer Reinhardt said, even the FBI would go to jail outside a protected life case with statements. It's entrapment. You can't be in somebody's home or inside their office. No matter what, it throws the case out, let alone stalkers. And some guy named Pete on his own. It's not admissible. And I want to know where these people think it's funny that your husband at the time finds a drug whore in a drug cartel that's human trafficking people and is willing, her and her drug friends are willing to kill and destroy an innocent wife that doesn't know what's happening to her and wake up bruised, beaten, and doesn't know how she got all those marks, throwing up, dizzy, heart racing, almost passing out in a personal infection, and letting those bastards rape me. And my ex-husband is that evil while we were married. I'm lucky to be alive. Where do these people think it's funny? Where they brag they photoshopped a shower scene and they date rape drug me and told me to say stuff. April 15th or 16th of 23, Dave's phone is tapped legally from the protected custody case. An officer did talk to him about the threats on my life. And he told Danny that he didn't know why that one guy confessed, that he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. And it was only him up there taping me unaware before and doing all those things. He hired that man to frame me, drug me, beat me, and rape me. Okay? And he thinks Pete has it set up. She is nothing admissible. Or she can't get no money. Nothing's admissible. Nothing is admissible. You can't hire a stalker to break in your house and do those things to your wife. Your wife's not in trouble for one thing and they can't look at it, but they can put them in jail for it. It's called the law. We don't live in a communist country. And then he said, Dad said he talked to some agent up at that church, that he was up there asking every one of the threats on her life, and that he spoke to him personally, and that he said he was the only agent from the agency looking into it on his own. Where I tried to tell that agent when I spoke to him after I called the hotline, he called me a liar. Why would I lie? Why wouldn't he just call the church if he had questions? You know, where the retired judge is selling the login? People up in Akron, we went over to that church. They told us they all seen him. An officer reported he's seen an agent telling him before I called him back. November 6, 22 at Trinity Gospel. They knew it was either the agent over my case or it was Pete on his own pretending to be FBI. The drug cartels ran around with FBI badges, getting him back at places. People need to verify it and make the cops, any police department, verify the real. The drug cartel is running the biggest scam in the world, and they're human trafficking. My ex and these idiots are all messed up in it, and they're serial killers. They will kill you. They told my one co-worker they tied up her friend, our family member, and cut her in pieces. I seen one on Facebook where one of the drug members in Florida, they cut up an Uber driver and put him in a garbage bag. They do murder people. They said around me by January 19, there was one of those guys up there that thought it was funny killing people. They took my house manager's niece. They took the girl at the ATM. They took a 15-year-old kid. The one guy that I went out to eat with, he said they found 35 people tied up and gagged. There's all kinds of law enforcement going after these drug traders and human traffickers where they brought them from out of state. A lot of them are in jail. They did an 800 people sweep in February. And then they did a sweep in December of 22 and then February 14th, 23. And they keep getting 17, 18 more here and there. And then the DEA got like 3,000 people messed up in drugs. Where this has led into more people and more people because they had so many drug traders from New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania, California, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia. They had all their drug suppliers come in and run this big scam. And this is what it is. It's a fraud scheme. That's where my friend that worked at the prosecutor, it's a fraud scheme where they kicked in your door. They probably did set up on cameras. They probably did Photoshop that shower scene. It can never be used against you. It was inside a house. Where you had marks on you, couldn't explain, you're throwing up, dizzy. They probably did date rape, drug you until you say something stupid so you'd be sleepwalking. It's not admissible. It was done inside a house. It's not. It's the Fourth Amendment. That's where Officer Reinhardt Lewis fell. I don't care what they say they got. I don't care what they say they did. Until Will at the Canton FBI took your statement, they couldn't even be in your home. They go to jail. It's entrapment. And it's a legal search and seizure. We actually don't live in a communist country. And I'd like these people to think, would you do this to your wife or girlfriend or your mother? Would you do this to the woman in your life? Would you do this to your daughter? Would you allow somebody to do this to your niece? Would you find it funny that people making fun of her for a drug cartel doing this to her? And some drug whores because the husband is cheating on them. Think about that. And think how not funny it is. Nothing a drug cartel has is admissible. If there's a dirty cop involved, he's going to go to jail. He can't be rogue and go off on his own and do what he wants. It's not admissible. Nobody can look at it.